Check 1, 2, 3.
Whenever in doubt, ask an older man. Whenever in doubt, ask an older man.
Yes, my friends, we are live. Yep, the older man is back. Let's do this, my friends. Let's do it. Yes, I see you guys piling in already. Man, you guys are just waiting. Love it. Texas, I see you, brother. I see you. Yeah. Oh, it's a hot subject today. I am live. Come on in, my friends. 11 of you so far. Come on in. Come on in. What's up, party people? Yeah. St. Petersburg, Florida. I see you, brother. I see you. Yeah. Oh, this one's going to be a good one. Got my coffee. 4 a.m. here in Dubai. It's a beautiful morning, man. Hot as hell, even at 4. Turn your doubts into questions that refine your aim. He said, love is a dude, you just more than one. Yeah. You show up when it's ugly, when the edge is haunted. You don't flex for a stranger. I hear you, man. Up for your clan. You don't beg to be chosen, you become that man. Yep. Oh, stay focused, eyes front. Sean, I see you, brother. I see you. Every step like you already chose it. I love to see the regulars come back in, you know. Let me turn this music down. Yeah. So, my friends, we're going to be talking about dating in your 50s. I'm going to cover both genders, males and females. Males and females. I got to be fair. But, you know, I like to talk to the woman, even though there's not a lot of them here. I just know that if we solve the female problem, we will actually fix this problem. Men did not break the contract. Women did. Women need to be brought back into order. And no, I'm not saying let's go back to the 50s. So, ladies, don't get your knickers in a twist. That's not what I'm saying. It's just that you got to understand the dating dynamics. The reality of it is men are responsible for relationships. And if women are not what men want, then the men are not going to choose the relationship. They'll take the punani. They will hit it. But they won't give you the relationship. And that's what I'm trying to get you guys to understand. That's the reality that a lot of women have to contend with, man. All right. See, people are coming in. So let me know where you guys are tuning in from, so we can get the show started. Houston, I see you. Okay. Cincinnati, I see you. Just going through the list, picking out people as I see it. Beck, Canada. Yes, I see you. Bonjour. Yep. I see you guys, man. Oh, the body's feeling it today, man. My deadlifts I did yesterday is hitting the old body hard. You guys gotta hit the gym, man. You got to hit the freaking gym hard. If you're not taking care of your body at this age, a lot of you are not doing it. You gotta do it, my friends. And you got to enjoy that pain afterwards because you know shit working, okay? All right, let's get rid of the music. Let's get this show on the road. So, dating in your 50s. Whew. How many of you are mature daters at this time? Anyone care to admit? Are you guys on the market, off the market? How many of you are looking for a 50-year-old woman? How many of you gentlemen are looking for a 55-year-old woman? Let's go to the middle. 55-year-old woman. I'm mature, but not dating. John McCain. All right, I hear you. I hear you. The respect from the sisterhood is more important than getting along with a man. Wow, 41, and I haven't dated in 8 years. Dude, well, you know, you know what frustrates me a bit about today's culture? What is dating? What are you having sex? Are you entertaining women in any way, shape, or form? Are you, I don't know, because dating for me now has just become this so-called almost vague word because I can never understand what people classify as dating. Another word is, oh, I'm talking to someone. What the hell does that mean? I'm talking to someone right now. What the hell does that mean? What's the difference between talking to someone and dating someone? Back in our day, it was either, hey, we're going out, we're seeing someone. That means you are not formally boyfriend and girlfriend, but you're at that stage, right? And then we are in a relationship, meaning we have both committed to each other as individuals where we're not seeing anybody else. And then there was an engagement, and then there was marriage. It was very simple. Simple times. Now you got hooking up, now you got talking stage, now you got dating, and there's a plethora of other freaking words to just not get around to the fact that we're sleeping with each other, but we're not committed. So I'm always just confused how many words there are out there for people just to skirt around what's going on. So you know sex and not entertaining women at all. Okay. You're renting it? Because, dude, don't go dead, man. Don't go celibate. That's depriving yourself of, life simple pleasures. All right. Well, listen, we are 5 minutes. What is it? 10 minutes in already. Shit. So, okay, let's talk about it, right? So, the 50 plus single woman isn't alone because she hasn't found the right guy. That's not her problem. She's alone because she spent her 30s and 40s burning through her only leverage, her youth. Not that she's young at that point, but she was younger. She burned through her youth, she burned through her cash and goodwill. And now what she's bringing to most men at age 50, high demands, zero peace. And these are the things that the market no longer values. This is what I'm seeing most of the time. And so I'm hoping I can help women get from the stage where they're single and not understanding why men don't want to commit to them, to understanding what they're doing wrong in order to actually have some measure of success. So Gabrielle says, I was married 25 years. one biological son and two stepkids, divorced 5 years ago, hanging with a 30-year-old GA. I don't know what is a GA or guy, 30-year-old guy. I assume, but there is the issue right there. Hanging with a 30-year-old guy. Clarify that for me, Gabrielle, because I want to make sure that I'm not misquoting you. But she has another guy. She hangs with more, but I'm okay with the time we spend. But I'm assuming he has another. I don't know. You're confusing me now. Because now you're telling me hanging with a 30-year-old gal? Okay. Yeah, you're confusing me. Ga mean gal. Okay. Okay, so does that mean you're bisexual? Because that's what I'm getting here. Dating nowadays at 53-year-old men is crazy. Yeah, I mean, it happens, and a lot of women are in this position because a lot of women decided that they were going to get divorced, and they were promised this so-called beautiful life after divorce, after she left her beautiful family. Well, beautiful meaning that she felt that she was doing all of the, what do you call it? What do they call it now? Unpaid labor. She felt that she was doing all of this unpaid labor. This is the bullshit that a lot of women have fallen for, right? This is the work that she was putting into her family, not somebody else's work for them to gain profit from. This is her family, her offspring, hers. All of this is for her. But apparently, they've defined that as unpaid labor. They've convinced women in so many shapes and forms that they should desert their family. And one of the things they've told women is that they're doing unpaid labor. So we need to talk about what's actually happening to women dating in their 50s. Because nobody's telling women the truth these days, man. Ladies, you're being lied to by your group chats. The women who are telling you all of this crap. You know, divorce your husband, get that alimony. Go do your traveling, girl. Go and have some fun. You're getting older. You're running out of time. You should be having fun. They dig the hole they are stuck in. Why wife up old sexual use experienced women? Yeah, I mean, ladies, you're going to hear how men think when you listen to these channels. Male channels will tell you how men think. A lot of women are not open or not subjected to male thoughts in the real world, because when you're around men are mostly polite. They will shut up when they're going to express themselves. And so a lot of women never hear what men really say or think until they come to channels like this, whereas the majority of men who are expressing themselves. This channel is an outlet for you to hear what men are saying. So if you want a dose of reality, and I know it's not sweet. It's not the sweetness that the media have told you that it was going to be about. It's a bitter pill. And if you have been lied to and bullshit by other women most of your life, ladies, when you come to channels like this, this opposing view that you're hearing is going to be a bitter pill. Lack of a better term, the red pill is a bitter pill to swallow. But this is reality. When you ladies get in your own little bunch and you start talking about men, how small his his D was and how the sex wasn't good and how he smelled like this and he did stomach like this and his teeth were like this and you all do your shit and it's so acceptable to just openly express yourselves amongst each other. You think that you all are just in this little bubble of men bad, women sweet. Because you can spray a little perfume on and you can cover your face up with some makeup. You never see the realities of how men operate. Yes, my friends. Thank you, brother. Like the video coming in, my friends. Please like it. There's over 60 something of you in here now, so please give me some likes. I can't see the amount of likes I'm getting on this screen, but yeah. Do me a favor and like the video on the way in. If you guys ever want to join the conversation, put in your comments live. Of course, you can click on the description and there's a link right there that will bring you straight on the show and I'll see that you want to come in. So, yeah. Now, here's the things that we're going to find about 50-year-old women that a lot of women don't want to actually admit. But I'm going to paint you a picture of a 50-year-old woman. And there's two basic groups. There's the divorced woman, and there's the woman who's never had a long-term relationship, right? These two women are significantly different, but they all both converge to the same point when they hit 50. The divorced 50-year-old, she got married either in her late 20s, early 20s, and then she divorced around 46, 47. This is a lot of women who've been through this, right? She put in the time with her kids. Her kids are now in their 20s, early 20s. They've either left the home or, they've grown. They're out, right? And she felt like she's done her time. She's done the time to raise her kids, and she's been told that I don't need to stay with this man because I just been working my ass off in this house, and I've been working, doing my job and coming home and cleaning the house and cooking and all of that crap. And I've had enough of it. And I know he has a good 401k. We've got a house that's pretty much almost paid off, and I've had my own car, and she's gotten used to a lifestyle, but she honestly feels that she could do better while she still have that degree of youth in her. She's reached middle age, and she feel that I want to enjoy the rest of my life having some fun, because that man, he hasn't been traveling with me. He hasn't been doing anything fun. And I see all of my divorce friends enjoying themselves with their divorce money, their settlement. Yes, exactly. Call it gray divorce. Thank you, Sean. Yeah, that is so popular these days. And a lot of women fall into that shit. So they take their divorce money and they start the whirlwind tour. Oh, I went to Bali. Oh, I went to Greece. Oh, I went to freaking this way, that way, went to the Caribbean. Jamaica got rubbed down, and they got the pictures on Instagram. A couple of those Jamaican guys on the river rubbing their legs in their, you know this, you know the stories. Sipping their little drinks with their umbrellas in them and, their tropical drinks. Now, go through 4 or 5 years of that shit. Guess what's going to happen? That money comes to an end very, very quickly. Very quickly. And because a lot of these women were never really handling the money and their finances over the 25 years that they existed with their husband. The husband was the one that was managing these things. He understood that, hey, listen, we got to be careful. I can't spend this money. We got a future to look forward to. The woman's brain was never conditioned in that fashion. So when she got a windfall of money, she don't know. For 30 years, she's never had anybody that gave her financial discipline. So what happens? She burns through that money very quickly. very quickly. She still has a job, but it's not paying her the amount of money that would sustain her lifestyle that she's now spent the money on. So now it's regulated to brunches with her divorced friends. They're all bitter. They're all now in the same bunch of women, still pretending like they're having fun, still have to keep up the so-called image of I'm still happy. So they keep burning through the money. It's a smaller amount now. They might not be traveling, but they're brunching. Every other weekend, $300-$400 on brunch. Bottomless mimosas and freaking at these restaurants, and I need a new dress because I need a new outfit because, the girls saw me in this outfit twice already. I need a new one. I need new shoes to go with that outfit. Sounds familiar, ladies? Sounds familiar? And then all of a sudden you realize, all of that money that I've been burning through now has slowly just been evaporating. I'm 55. My cubicle job isn't looking to elevate me to that boss babe status. Women are waking up in their 50s realizing that this cubicle job is as far as I'm going to get in this company, because I am not part of the 5 or 6 or 4 or 5% of women who actually make it to boss babe status. No. And I'm 50, 55, 57, 58. Companies these days are looking to get rid of your ass because you have reached the top or the peak of your salary cap for the job you're doing. Your job can now be replaced by a 30-year-old with AI. Someone who has adopted to today's modern technology. We can hire her. So, Mabel, yeah, you're out. You're out. You got 2 more years. By the time you're 59, you're out of a job that you have been holding down for the last 10, 15, 20 years. You're finished. In the meantime, your ex-husband, guess what he's done? He's found a 30-year-old, nice 30-year-old woman who's willing to get on his program. She's not interested in having kids, but hey, she's happy being there with him, enjoying some of his retirement money. He's now hitting his peak. His peak income is coming in at 50, 58, 59. This is when men usually peak. He's looking better because she's cooking and she's taking care of him, right? And guess what? He's living his best life. So now you're looking back at the ex-husband going, oh, shit. Look at my ex-husband. He's doing really well. Saw him with his younger wife the other day. So guess what? The depression starts to kick in. You start drinking. You start hitting the old 1 or 2 glasses of wine every evening after work, or, with your friends hanging out. The body isn't looking good like it was in your 30s or your 20s. The depression hits even harder. So you start pumping your face with the Botox. You start going through all of these different enhancements. Now you're spitting out even more money on bullshit. You realize, I can't stay in the house that I'm staying in. I got to get something smaller. That hits you even harder. The depression kicks in even more. Then you got to come home every day and you're sitting in your house alone. The days and nights that you have brought in some random dude off the street, some nightclub or from some brunch, just to try to get your sex on. That gets old because none of these guys are freaking committing to you. I know it sounds like a bleak, horrible picture. But this is the reality for most 50-year-old women. Because you have burned through all your leverage when you were younger. Big boss, I see you. I see you coming in, brother. Yes, my brother. Big boss, I can hear you. But you got to turn down
I just turned it off.
You can hear me now?
Yeah, I just turned it off.
Okay, good. They could be getting that echo feedback. So what do you want to say, brother?
I just want to say you're doing a great job, and I like your persistence on doing your live. Sometimes I can't make it because stuff be going on and stuff, but I've been trying to make it, and you're
All
a
right.
good inspiration. And you talk to some truth, a lot of stuff that people need to hear, brother. And keep up the good work. But
Thank you, brother.
yeah, I went through a similar situation, but I just want to say, you know, my daddy used to say they sang the song called "You Never Miss Your Water Till Your Well Run Dry." You never know how it is until once it's gone. So with that being said, I'm not going to take up a lot of time. I appreciate you, brother. Keep doing what you're doing, Paul.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. I appreciate that, man. All right. Take care. Yeah. You never miss it until it's gone. That's the problem. Women always think that the grass is always greener on the other side. So now that I've broken down the type of woman that you're going to get once she's gone through divorce, ladies, let me know if I'm wrong. Does Paul answer super chats? Yes, I do, brother. I do answer super chats. Much love to the whole Ask Older Man crew. I do love my older ladies, though, still. Yeah, listen, man. I'm 60. If I tell my wife, listen, if we were something ever happened to me, to you, etc., I don't know if I could settle for a woman under, I don't know, under 40. Okay, maybe 35. I can't do that. I can't go any lower than that. I do admire a certain level of maturity in women, right? But a 50-year-old, no, I probably would not. At 60, I wouldn't go for 4. I'd probably go younger. But I'm just saying, we are at that point, you know? I see you coming through super chat. But where is it? Let me click on it. Where is it? Is surrogacy and single fatherhood the only safest guaranteed way to have a legacy kids without the risk of a woman sabotaging everything? Oh, that's a big question. Surrogacy. I'm trying to get it on the screen. Why is it not coming up on the screen? I don't think so. I think the only way to do this is with an agreement. If you want to have listen, there's no guarantees in life. Just sort of let's get that out of the way. There's nothing in life is guaranteed. So let's get rid of that word first, because we only got to take the best and safest option, and then you got to think about mitigation of risk. How do I make sure that I don't risk everything? And the answer is simple. Prenup, trust. That solves the idea of making sure that you mitigate the risk. Prenup and a trust. That's what happens when you enter into any agreement. If you're going to have a child with someone else, that's a whole different agreement. You can have an agreement with someone with any document. Any document. Both people signed an agreement with a child, etc. Have a third party witness it, or justice of the peace, etc. Deal is done. So that you can go to court and argue the point that we entered into a legally binding agreement. That's it. So mitigation of risk is it. Kingsley, thank you so much, brother. Thanks for the super chat. I am going to try to keep up the good work. So, brother, don't think that you're going to get away from risk. That's the vital part of trying to understand. I couldn't show it on screen, but I did read it out. Prenup and child paternity confirmation, for sure. I would, if I was ever going to have a child, I don't care if I'm married to my wife or not, in today's environment, if I was married to a new woman, I would definitely insist on a paternity test. Not playing with any of these women in today's environment. And I would strongly suggest you guys do that as well. So, now that I described the divorcee 50-year-old woman, understand, ladies, if you are coming to a new relationship with that bitterness and that baggage that you're holding on from your ex-husband marrying a younger woman and your life not in the best financial shape, you are bringing a shitload of baggage to a man who lives a peaceful life, who has already recovered from his divorce, or he's never been married, or he's coming out of a long-term relationship. It doesn't matter. And he's in his peaceful state. That man isn't looking for a woman like you at 50. He's not looking for some woman who's going to say to him, well, if he ain't taking care of me, I don't want him. If I got to do any unpaid labor, I don't want it. I've been through this shit before. I ain't going through any more of that. If we ain't traveling, I don't want none of that. If he's not willing to get up and go and travel and provide something in my life that would bring me peace and joy, why am I going to hook up with him? But Paul, aren't men staying away from remarriage and just enjoying their peace? Yeah, that's primarily what's happening, because these are the women those men have to choose from. Married twice is the norm these days. Yeah, I've been there. I'm a number 3. But thankfully, I learned how to do it this time. No marriage, just mitigation of risks. What does marriage offer a man in our time? That's the thing. Most men don't see the value of a marriage today because women have made it, well, not very inviting. Most women no longer look at marriage as until death do us part anymore. It is just literally until I'm no longer happy. And then they have a court system that rewards them for getting a divorce. So why would a man even look at marriage? So I think the long and short of it is, if you can't offer a man a child because you're too old, if you don't have the body that the man wants at 50, because, listen, if you weren't an athletic type woman, staying in shape through your 20s, 30s, 40s, and you hit 50, you're not going to be the sexiest looking woman out there at 50. I'm just being realistic. I know, because I see these women. I've grown with these women all my life. If you just decided that, okay, now I'm getting a divorce and I'm going to start looking at losing some weight or getting in shape, all of that flab that you had accumulated during your 30s and 40s, man, that's not looking good at 50. So you've lost your ability to be gentle, kind, sweet, because you're bitter, because you've been through a lot of shit with your so-called divorce. You chose that. 70 to 90% of the time, women choose to leave their marriages because they're not happy. I'll tell you one thing, ladies, and here's the horrible truth a lot of you hear way too late. Marriages are not designed to make you happy. A marriage is simply someone that you do life with. That's it. Marriage is someone you do life with. Nowhere in there is this so-called happiness. Now, here's the other major part of being married or in a relationship. It's called compromise. You cannot have it going your way all the time, because if you're getting it your way all the time, that means someone else is suffering. This is what a lot of women freaking fail to understand. You all want it to go your way all the time at the expense of someone else. It's called compromise. That's a relationship. Someone relating to each other, meaning I got to give up certain things and I got to give certain things. He does the same thing. A man gives up something and he gets something. That's the way relationships work. And this is a constant, everyday exchange. The problem arises when every woman who has to give up anything at all, oh, I got to cook every day. Unpaid labor. That's the compromise. For that, you get a man who pays 70% of the bills. You get a man to share the house with. You get a man to protect your ass when you're in the house. You don't have to worry about things that go bump in the night. You get a man to share a child with. You get a man to do life with. But no, you've been told, oh, you don't need him. Not realizing the comfort that you are currently enjoying is because of the man. And because you put in a little bit, you get this confused idea that this is, you could do it on your own, because you don't see or even think about the amount of work. You don't have to feel it. You don't feel the amount of work the man is actually putting in, because you don't empathize with that. You don't have empathy. A lot of women don't have empathy. They have sympathy, but not empathy. Empathy is putting yourself in that person's position and imagining how they're experiencing it. Women don't have empathy, especially for another man and how in the world he got to go through. They'll feel sorry for him and rub his back. But they don't freaking feel the empathy. Women do not live the male experience. And so when the man has been giving to her, she don't understand that feeling. Come on, man. Women don't have feeling. Yes, they do. And especially for another woman. Oh, man, women are just selfish. Well, selfish is a harsh word, but women are, because women know that they are the weaker of the two sexes, to them, it's all about survival. Gentlemen, we have to empathize with a female's position as well. We have to understand, imagine how it would feel if you were constantly in the presence of someone who's actually stronger than you, who's more aggressive, etc. How would you react? I have to empathize with a woman's understanding of it as well, right? Paul, step godfather, take over where Kevin Samuel, thank you, brother, left off. Listen, these are the things that we have to understand about relationships, because I think the essence of relationships have been distorted by the media and romance novels. This whole live happily ever after is the biggest pile of bullshit that has ever been instilled on women to understand what life's about. You ever think about this, right? Why is it that all of these so-called fairy tale stories ends when the couple are still young and never when they're old, gray, had kids, doing all of the nasty exchanges, the prince having another woman, concubines. None of that story is expressed. It always ends when they're young and fresh and they're going off and getting married and they lived happily ever after. Reality doesn't come into the picture at all. Empathy is a two-way street. I guess it's when a woman sits up all night with a crying toddler many nights in a row and loses her composure, does she realize that if the man is willing to help too. Yeah, the man is. I've done it. You know how many times I've had to do it with my wife? Because when we were both working, we did it. When I was just the primary caregiver and my wife was home from work, she knew that I had to get up in the morning to go to work. That means that she made sure that she done the bulk of the getting up with the child. So the bottom line is that we work hand in hand, and we always understood that, hey, if I need my sleep, she takes over. If I knew that we were both doing equal stuff, then I would make sure that I put in my work as well. And that's the balance of a relationship. That's what good relationships are. And listen, this is what a lot of people don't understand. At some times during your relationship, there will always be an imbalance. It's never always the scales are constantly tipped perfectly where we're both equally contributing. No, sometimes it's like this. Sometimes she has to give 90%. I'm only doing 10 and vice versa. Sometimes it's 100% to nothing. So we have to understand that relationships is a constant ebb and flow. Tides come in, tides go out. That's an old inside joke. But the thing is, I mean, waves go in and out. It's just a constant thing, man. Relationships are fluid. It's something that flows. It's nothing rigid about it. And you all have to understand that in order to survive in relationships, you all have to learn how to, rock and roll with the waves that comes with relationships, because the problems don't just occur inside relationships. It's all the outside influences that hits the relationship as well. The work problems, the work politics, the people at work. Then you got the people in your everyday life, the girl at the gym, the guy driving a car down the street. Everything influences your relationship. An ad you saw on TV, some meme that you saw on freaking internet. Everything freaking influences your internet, your relationship. Too much freaking viewing bullshit on Instagram and TikTok, and guess what happens? Your woman's brain is messed up. My relationship depends on bank account. No, not a lot. Not even close. A bitter woman has nothing to offer no matter what she looks like. Absolutely. Once you get a certain age, my friends, a bitter woman is a nightmare. And this is the beautiful thing about getting older. We learn to identify bitter women very quickly because we've seen so many examples of it over our lifetime that the second we see any clue of bitterness, we stay away from those women. So when women see men step away from them instantly, they should understand that these older men automatically understood that, nah, this isn't something I want. And she knows this because she also see that in the men that she want as well. But what a lot of women have to understand, especially at this age, the men are the ones that are looking at her and will determine whether he's going to grant her a relationship. She has the first right of refusal. But more than likely, if she's even in his presence, she sees something that she likes in him already. Bitter and ran through. Oh. Listen, man, at 50, we have to understand that ran through is just part and parcel of the friggin' game. You're not going to freaking get a woman who's, what, pure? That's what you're looking for? Let's get real, gentlemen. Let's get real. Bottom line is, she's going to come with some mileage on her. She's going to come with some mileage. 122 watching, 73 likes. Yes, my friends, come on. 126 right now. We need some likes. We need some likes in there, my friends. Just pause for a second. I'm going to pause so that you guys could just hit that like button. It takes nothing from you all. It takes absolutely nothing. Okay? Come on, hit me up. Come on. Get those likes up. I can't see, so you guys tell me where the likes are going. So, ladies, if no man in your 30s, 40s, or 50s offer you a ring or commitment, you're the problem. You cannot go through 3 decades, 30 years with you, and you've been through multiple amount of men over 3 decades, and no man says, you know what? This is a woman I want as my wife. Come on. Now we're going to talk about the woman who'd never been single. Sorry, never been married, that have always been single. Been in and out of long-term relationships, but never, ever got a man to commit. I want to talk to those women now. We've talked about the divorced women. Let's talk about the women who've never had a serious relationship. These are what I call the major no man's land. I like that. I was going to say these are called the major red flags. Why is it that no man has ever said you're worth being my woman? And I will only assume one basic thing. You have fallen for that old narrative that I'm not settling. And I'm not even going to talk to the women who have 1 or 2 baby daddies. Not even those. Let's just, because those are just no man, definitely no man's land there, right? I'm just talking about the woman who'd never had kids, always looked at so-called career, right? I'm not even going to talk to the women who are successful in their career, because the large majority of women have not made it to the top of her game. I'm talking about the cubicle cuddler, the woman who's always just worked in that middle tier job where that average person always end up. 80 to 90, well, actually 90 to 95% of women and men, just so that you understand, ladies, that's where we all end up, in that middle tier job, never reaching it beyond supervisor position, rarely made it to managerial position. Just sort of that little tier right there, average, never making over $60,000 to $70,000. Okay, that's as high as it got. And she didn't really take care of her body. She didn't put a lot of effort into her physical appearance, but she spent a lot of time with makeup and hair and, looking good. And she went to a few Pilates classes, but not obese, but she's not slim either. You know that woman, man. She's not overly sexy. She's just sort of, and she's just cruised through life. But she's always had this thing that I'm not settling. And then all of a sudden she looks up and realizes, shit, I'm 51 years old. I've had a few relationships, guys that were just there. I've given myself to a few men who I would have liked, but those men would never have committed to me. I see these women all the time. I see some at the gym that are in actually really good shape. Beautiful women. Usually they're 40s, but never got married. And here's the problem with these type of women. If a man ever gave them a chance at that age, they honestly think that she is the prize now. She honestly think that, yeah, I got what I wanted. She will compromise in her own brain that now this is it. And now this man must serve me. And it's not a very nice position to be in as a woman. So that's the relationship she ends up with. And she just feels that, hey, this man must serve me. And if the man is a simp, he'll do it. If he's not a simp, he will recognize instantly like, yeah, this is a waste of my time. I have 50-year-old women over here who honestly think that they're still waiting for their Prince Charming. She's the prize at 80 or that's the thing, man. A lot of women think that even at their late freaking years in life that they're still the prize. That's a scary thought, man. How can you honestly think that being in your 50s that you're still the prize? What prize? What are you offering a man at 50? I mean, these are serious questions that men ask women. What are you offering me at 50 years old that I can't get from a 30-year-old? Because if you're looking at a man as a 50-year-old woman, he's going to probably be in his late 60s. He's fully established, fully matured. And more than likely, that man still has his shit together. and I'm talking about the things that you want in a man: financially stable, career is at its peak, or business is at its peak. These are the men that win at that age, right? And this is the thing, gentlemen. Reality of this is most men who haven't achieved shit by the time they reach their 60s, you're not going to get many women looking at you. You're not. We know this as men. We know this. This is a hard pill for a lot of men to swallow, but you know, we swallow it. We know it. So we accept our fate. We don't mind renting some punani when we need it, getting the rocks off and just keep hustling. But women, on the other hand, they really think that they still good enough to get that man. And if that man that she finds attractive in her 50s has made it, that man can get a 30-year-old. That's the reality of life. So women aren't competing with women in their own age group. They're competing with women anywhere from age 29 right through until her age 50. That's a massive, massive amount of women. But the men she wants at 50, those are very, very, very rare men. Men who have succeeded and still available. Got to remember that still available thing is important. Because a lot of men who are successful have already been taken off the market. So unless you're prepared to share a man who's successful in those age groups, your success rate with a man is going to be slim to none. And I'm talking about what you consider a high value man. Now, more than likely, you have to, I'm going to use that word, settle for a man on your level. Settle for a man on your level. That is the hard pill that a lot of women refuse to freaking deal with. Because let's look at what settling is for a woman, right? At her level. That means that her sexual market value does not demand a high price. That psychologically destroys her. My punani isn't worth enough anymore to pull in a man at a high level like it used to back when I was in my 20s. It's a hard pill for a lot of women to freaking swallow, especially if they've done quite well financially, or, you know, they have achieved some measure of financial success, not realizing that her financial success isn't what men find attractive in her. Sorry. Women keep having, we keep having to remind women that what you find attractive in a man isn't what men find attractive in you. And this is where the empathy part comes in again, right? This clearly shows you that women have no understanding of what men want, because they honestly think that they have to become the men that they want. The empathy, the lack of empathy, should tell her that men don't want another man. If she was able to think like a man, she would realize very quickly that, hey, I should not become the masculine man that I want, because men don't want that. And this is more proof to you, gentlemen, that women have a problem with being empathetic. And now someone mentioned a while back about she understanding a baby crying. A baby crying is just simply a message. This is how a baby communicates. I want help. I want food. I want. That's all. That's a baby's just communicating. It's no empathy. There's simply a communication. Somebody said that again. Women don't have feelings. Women have feelings. They just don't have empathy. There's feelings is a broad spectrum of things, right? She can feel so many different emotions. But having the ability to empathize is very difficult for a lot of women because it's all about self. She has to focus on self-preservation. She do not have time to focus on anybody else. That is why the expression, a woman will sacrifice her family for her feelings, for her happiness. But a man will give up his happiness for his family. Something to that effect. I know it's slightly different. I'm sure one of you are going to correct me shortly in the comment section. They have too many feelings used to justify their actions. Yeah, true. But we're talking about empathy. You got to be empathetic to other people's feelings, especially your partner. So I want to ask a very honest, direct question to the ladies in the chat. Okay? I know this one's going to be a little painful. Come on. But I want you guys to answer me because this is where we talk seriously. This is a mature channel, right? What are you bringing to a man life at 50 besides past trauma and a list of demands? Come on, ladies. Just give me some inkling so that we as men can get an idea. What do you bring to a man? They won't answer honestly. Well, I'm trying to encourage. I'm trying to encourage the women bring loose pussy. You know, this is a mature channel, and I want, I'm trying to get honest, straightforward dialogue. Headache. I want to hear from the ladies, man. I don't know if that was a lady or not. Only men are capable of being romantic. Women can only receive romance. Yeah, that's true. That is true. Come on, ladies. Come on. I'm waiting. I know there's some ladies in here, but it's a serious question. Yep. I see 135 watching, and apparently only 91 people have liked it. Come on. Give me some likes, guys. They think it's they think that's old punani. Oh man. Oh, you guys are freaking hilarious. Come on, listen. I'm trying to get a good idea of how women think. All right, let's rephrase the question a little bit. What does a 50-year-old woman want from a man in a relationship? What is it? What is it that woman wants? Can we answer that one, ladies? Because it's much easier for a woman to tell you what they want than it is for them to tell you what they're bringing. But I'm interested to know, what is it that women actually want? Okay. Let's see. Crazy Cataldy. Peace, financial discipline, agreeableness, silence, fitness. Those are beautiful, beautiful things. Beautiful. I think that wraps it up. I think that pretty much covers it all. If a man can get that, he's a lucky man. The peace, financial discipline, agreeableness, silence, and fitness. Wow. I'm 46 and married, so maybe I can't answer. Of course you can answer. Of course you can answer. You know exactly what all women want. And you know exactly what you bring into your marriage. Because the same thing that you bring into your marriage that your husband like at 46, and you better know what that is the same thing a 50-year-old woman can bring to a man. It's a wrap. So you're saying that 50, it's a wrap? It's much easier to rent the Panani. Well, we know that. But part of, and this is the second thing this is the next thing I'm going to get into. What is it that a 50-year-old woman can offer a man at that age? And it's pretty much good companionship, which is what most men and what most human beings are looking for, because we are social creatures. In essence, we tend to live longer when we are socially connected to either family or good friends or a good partner. Now, good partner. The word, optimum word is good. Okay? We live longer. If you have a good partner that balances out your life, takes away some stress, makes sure that things are equal between both of you, right? She's cooking healthy meals. He's taking the bulk of the work. You know, good balance. Both of you are working out and taking care of each other. At 50, she could probably remove her teeth. Come on, man. Bottom line is that we must be able to balance each other at some point in life where life is a lot easier to do together rather than alone. A lot of older folks think that doing life alone because you've adjusted to being alone is preferable. Ignore the part that says if you were with a good person, doing life together would have been even easier. You see, human beings are adaptable creatures. Adaptability is what we do very well as human beings. We're one of the most adaptable organisms on Earth. That's why we've survived this long. We've not gone extinct. The reason why we have different skin colors is because we have adapted when we migrated to different parts of the world. When you leave a cold climate and go into a hot climate, at first you're going to feel like you're freaking burning up. Give it 2 to 3 months, you climatize. All of a sudden you adjust, right? When you start running, maybe you can get through 1/4 mile in the first 2-3 weeks. 1/2 mile after a month and a half. 4 years down the line, you're running half a marathon. You adjusted. Your body became better at pushing oxygen around your body. Or I should say your heart and lungs got better at throwing oxygen or pumping oxygen around the body. You adjust. We adapt. And I can do this to muscles. I can do this to brain power. I can do this to everything because we are an adaptable organism. And the same thing occurs when you're in a relationship. That's why you hear people say, oh, I can't live without my husband. You have adapted to being with your husband. Oh, I don't know what I'd do without my wife. Same thing occurs. I mean, my wife is leaving for 2 weeks to go back to the UK. I'm going to be alone with my girls. But I already feel that little pang of, oh shit, because we haven't been apart for very long. Since we've been together for 22 years, we have adapted to being together. So you have to understand that when you are alone for an extended period of time, guess what happens? You adjust, you adapt. In the thought of actually accommodating or compromising for another person in your presence sounds almost, oh. But you never know what you're missing until you got it back, you know? I hope I'm making sense, man. Paul, these days, single older women still think a better option lies in the next guy. I'm 64 and dating after 20 years, being married. They all have that sickness. That's the biggest problem. The hypergamous nature of the female is just insane. Because the programming that has been pumped into women's brains all her life has always told her that she could do better. And these, if you couple that with this whole principle of, well, 30 is the new 20, and 40 is the new 30s, and 50s is the new 28s. Because as they pump more freaking Botox and crap into their faces and liposuction this and put on more makeup, and women are looking younger and younger, and then they see this shit on all of the celebrities and they think, oh, I can get that done too, and I would look 20 years younger. They honestly think that that is who they are. No, that's not who you are. You're a 50-year-old with the freaking mask of a 30-year-old. But under all of that, you now have a fully scarred, delusional version of yourself that the men have to deal with now. Because now we have a 50-year-old woman who thinks she's 30. That is not a pretty picture. It might look good, but dealing with you mentally? Oh, no. No. My wife is 56. 56. 57. 56. She's going to see this, right? Never had one piece of cosmetic surgery. No Botox, no nothing. Wears a very, very light makeup. Slight foundation, because she know I don't like that shit. And she's happy with herself. Works out hard, takes care of her body. Does the whole, what do they call it? The hydration shit at night. Like, why you keep putting that shit on your face? Just dries out your skin. No, it doesn't. That's the opposite. All right, whatever. Just got to leave her alone with that. But the point is that I know that my woman is comfortable with who she is in her own skin. I love her for the woman that she was and the woman she's now grown into. 22 years with the same woman. I can tell you, when we first met, it's not the same person. When she first met me, I don't look like I was when I was freaking 20-something, 30-something years old. No, I don't. So we grow together. And what I see is still the woman that I married when she was back in that age. But that's the beauty of how a man's brain adapts. Okay? So we have to understand that when you see a woman who has put a lot of effort into keeping all of... Let me put it this way. We have a society that keeps pushing women to think that they can turn back the clock. To me, that's a destructive force on the female brain. Because they're constantly chasing this fountain of youth under a knife or in a needle. And it's just a constant thing. It doesn't get any easier. Because as they get older and older, they think, I need to push more shit in my face. I need to pump more stuff on my body. I need to cut something else out. And it's just a constant destructive force. We're now seeing a lot of these so-called celebrities that look like freaking freaks in nature. But it affects you here. It affects you here. Because those celebrities can afford to get to the best doctors and maintain a massive long-term strategy. The average person can't do that shit. But this is how women have been conditioned to think. And by the time they're 50 years old and they haven't found a person yet, it's going to affect them much, much more severely. I mean, I watch these women walk around today. It's just like this. There's a freaking, they look like bloody, I call them fish lips, right? Fish lips, massive freaking eyelashes, caked on bloody makeup, Botox everywhere. There's no expressions on their face, just like, hey, hi, hello, how are you? Their face ain't freaking moving. And a man is supposed to look at that and go, oh yeah, she's normal. Yeah, she's normal. Yeah, I'd wife that up. They're spending all of their disposable income on trying to freaking be somebody that they're not. And so this is what men have to choose from. Instead, men want a woman who's happy with herself, happy with her age, dresses nice, dresses for her age appropriate. There's no such thing anymore, apparently. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as age appropriate. You got these 50-year-old grandmas walking around with stuff that you just say to yourself, what the hell happened? I actually never played any videos today. I was so engrossed in my conversations. Let's play a few videos. I want to show you this is what we got to deal with. This is what women are dealing with today.
Most single women over 50 won't admit this, but here's the real truth. Yeah, we can go out, we have fun, we travel, we go out with the girls, we go to yoga, some of you are playing pickleball, tennis, we have great lives, we pay our own bills, we afford our own homes. But at the end of the day, when you come home late at night to an empty house, or maybe even your dog, it's fucking lonely. And I know because it hit me hard. I went to Mexico, a women's retreat. I came home filled with love, connection, gratitude, embodiment, empowerment. When I walked in that door and it was dark, and yeah, my dog was there and I love him so much, but it was lonely. And then I slipped and fell in the bathroom and I was all alone and I was scared. So the truth is, having a partner.
And that's what I'm talking about right there. Having a partner, she got cut off there, is a blessing. Compromising with a partner is a good thing. Because trust me, once you get to that age where you could slip in the shower. I had a brother. He slipped in the shower like 5 months ago, 6 months ago. And this is a brother from the gym, man. You know, he's what, 52? Fit as shit. But slipped in the shower, coming out of the shower, and fell down, broke his collarbone. And he said, man, it was the most painful thing ever. Couldn't even, I had to literally crawl myself over to the bed. And he was, and the thing is, he's living here in Dubai, but his family is back in India. And he said, I had to crawl myself back over to the bed and call the ambulance because I just didn't know what had happened because it was really hurting my neck and I didn't know if I was going to pass out or not. And he said I was naked, and I couldn't move my hand to pull my pants on, and I didn't want him to see me like this. And he said, man, it was the scariest shit. And I said, yeah, man, I hear you. I hear you. I said, this is the first thing, every time either one of us go into the tub or, anywhere quiet, we listening to each other. We always, if somebody fell, etc., we know that, we got each other's back. And it's part and parcel of getting older, man. So it's not fun growing up alone or staying in a home alone. There's so much more to just partnership or companionship. It's that security of knowing that there's someone else there. You know how many stories I hear of people dying on the toilet, straining, have a blood clot, have a stroke. Just imagine the paramedics just finding you in pants by your ankle, just freaking keel over in your tub and in your toilet. Yep, this happens. When you're hitting those half a century ages, shit happens. That's the thing. Was it Elvis? Elvis died. Is that how Elvis died? I've heard that story. I've heard that story. But yeah, this is partly, I've spoken to a few paramedics. He said, yeah, there's a lot of people who pass out from straining too hard. They black out and then they keel over, hit their head on the tub or something in front of them and die. They've had cases of this, quite a few cases of this. So these are the things that we all got to freaking. Was it Bellucci as well? I don't know. I've never heard of these. This is how these two celebrities died, but this is a freaking common event, apparently. And so we have to understand that there are benefits of having someone in your life at these ages. It's important to grow old with someone. It's not a joke, man.
You know what we need to normalize? We need to normalize being in your 50s, being at midlife, and having everything just feel like a shitstorm. Things are just hitting you left and right. Oh my gosh. I know it's the end of the school year and kids are graduating and kids are coming home from college. And God, I got my daughter coming home for a week and then she's off for 6 months. And having my college age daughter leaving, I haven't even dealt with that yet. The fact that she won't be here this summer. And then today's my dad's birthday and it's been 7 years since he died and it still just hurts and it's still so freaking hard. Anyway, if you are, I'm 56, if you're middle age or if you're younger and you think life gets easier, I don't think it gets easier. I think you have tools to help you cope through life. But there are days where it just hits so freaking hard and all you can do is cry. So that I just get on here and share. If anybody else is going through a lot right now, I got you. I see you, and we're gonna get through this.
Yeah, this is it. When your husband is gone, when you've given it up, and you're now dealing with all of these emotional roller coasters on your own, it's harder. It's a lot harder. If you had your man in the house who could freaking cuddle you and say, hey, baby, it's going to be all right. We're going to do this shit together. Don't worry. You don't have to go to TikTok to freaking cry and tell the world that, hey, being 57 years old is hard. Yeah, shit. Getting older is hard. That transition, that realization that There are more years behind you than they are in front of you is a rude awakening for a lot of people. Middle age is actually 39. Most people don't live, most men, 77, I think, is a life expectancy for most modern men. And I think for 81 for most women. So that means by the time you hit 40, you're middle age or more. You're past middle age. And because most people are not in very good health, it's not gonna be a good journey. So we have to understand that these getting to that age comes with a lot of psychological awakening, a lot more emotional. The word I'm looking for is that you're going to go through some, more awakening. It's a different type of awakening, and most of it is realizing our mortality, not morality, mortality, understanding that, hey, it's coming up. It's the other stretch of life. It's that transition that hits you hard when you hit your 50s. So we have to see this as a serious issue. I'm not giving up. I need love. Yeah, we all need love. We all need that thing, that part of life that makes it even worth existing for. We want to be needed by another individual. We want to be loved by another individual. There's nothing more beautiful than that. I still catch my wife looking over at me some days with that smile on her face. It's the most beautiful feeling in the world, man. Most beautiful feeling. And sometimes she catches me doing the same thing, So we have to understand that the very small natural things that we enjoy about life as human beings are an essential part of living a good, fulfilling life. So now I want to go through some of the issues that we always find. I've written some of them down. The men my age only want 20-year-olds complaint, right? So most people in chat, men in their 50s are delusional looking for 30-year-olds. No, we're not delusional, because 30-year-olds don't mind 50-year-old men who are successful, who are still in good shape, who take care of themselves. That is the natural order of things. It's all about supply and demand, my dear. That's the reality of life. Supply and demand. And if a man has the ability to attract a 30-year-old versus a 20-year-old, he's going to take the 30-year-old. Of course, if she's offering him peace, of course. I mean, don't think that it doesn't come with all the caveats, not just age. A guy in his 50s with money doesn't look for a birth date, my dears. He looks for low mileage, high energy, and no attitude. If a 32-year-old offers that, then why would he pick bitter baggage? Just saying. That's just the reality of male nature. It's who we are as a species. Then we have this other issue. The I've given too much already defense that women come up with, right? These women are always saying, oh, we raised kids and gave everything to our exes. We earned the right to be demanding. Really? So we have to deal with something called entitlement versus the marketplace that you're operating in. Entitlement versus the marketplace. These are two totally different things. They're competitors. Here's the thing. You gave your best years to a guy. Why should the new guy pay the so-called tax for what your ex did to you or what you perceive your ex did to you? That's not how this shit works. The new guy is going to come in and he expects you to come with a clean slate, which is impossible, but he at least expects you to control the baggage that you're carrying with you. He don't want to deal with the shit that your ex threw on you. And of course, the woman will always try to shame you into, what about good companionship? Which is true. I mean, men want good companionship. But the optimum word is good. He's not going to just get a companion for the sake of freaking getting a companion. And I'm going to give you an analogy that you won't freaking like, but this is the best analogy I can give you because we all know dogs, right? Dog make great companion. But you know, if this dog bites, if it's not trained, it's a freaking nightmare. Most men don't want to train a dog. But if the dog came with great temperament already that requires less training, then more than likely that relationship would be much more fruitful with that new dog. Please try to understand, I'm not comparing women with dogs. I'm trying to give you an analogy. If you come to a man already healed, because I know a lot of you understand that word, healed, you're not carrying the baggage of your previous relationship. You've already told your exes, hey, I'm sorry. Listen, I'm gonna be a good co-parent. Let's work it out. I'm friends with his new girlfriend or wife, whatever, and everything is fine. And I've come to grips that I made a mistake of going through my previous divorce, or I'm happy with my choice, and et cetera, then, hey, a man will accept that shit rather than, my ex was a creep and he was this and he was this. He treated me like shit. Blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to go through all of that shit again, blah, blah. Bringing all of that into a new relationship. No, lady. No. Men don't want to hear that shit. You have to be mature enough to leave all of that stuff at the door when you walk into a new man's house. Proverbial house. When you walk in through the door of a new relationship, let me clarify that. You must leave the baggage of your past outside. Bring the experience, leave the baggage. There's a distinct difference. Oh, I love this one. He has to match my energy, income. Oh, this one just drives me crazy. I have my own house, my career. He needs to bring more than I do. So this is the whole male perspective on female financial success. Listen, ladies, men don't cuddle your freaking IRA. He don't cuddle your freaking house. No, that's not what he's cuddling. That's not what he cares about. Especially the men at that age who've got their own, right? If he has to match you, great. But if he can't, don't expect him to actually see you as a prize because of your house or your career. He cares if his heart rate goes up or down when he walks into the room with you. That's all he cares about. Is this woman going to freaking drive me insane where my pulse rate, my heart rate, is it escalating, or is she calming me down when I walk in the room and see her? When I put my arms around her, does my pulse rate come down? Do I feel warm and, oh yeah, my baby? Or is it like, oh Christ, why am I here kind of attitude? A woman that can do both of these things to a man. And guess which one he prefers? Just saying. Just saying. All right. So let's look at it from the male point of view, right? The male viewer. I'm 55 and divorced, scared to death to let another woman near my money. So you would say, hey, I'm not making any woman get close to that. I'm not friggin' getting married again. And I say, after that first divorce, you should have put everything in a friggin' trust. Trust, everything hidden behind a trust. So at any point you want to get into another relationship, everything is nicely hidden, tucked away. You own nothing. The trust owns everything. Okay? That is how you protect your money. So we get the I'm 50 and I'm healed exception, right? Not all 50-year-old women. I do yoga, I'm peaceful, and I treat my man like a king. They're rare. These are very rare individuals. And I always try to explain to men, they will approach you with that first, but you got to look deeper. You always have to look deeper. You always have to give them time. Don't rush in. Do not rush in and try to commit to a woman who says that up front. You got to give her time to stop pretending. You got to see the cracks. Don't ever think, I don't have a lot of time, so yeah, I've only known her 3 to 5 months, but I feel comfortable and she said that she's healed. No, you got to give them at least a year to stop pretending. And in that year, you got to spend a lot of time with them. Not every 2 weekends where she can pretend all the time. You got to still give it some time, my friend. Don't think that you're running out of time so you can commit to some woman that's going to pretend with you, because a lot of these 50-year-old women, they know how to freaking pretend. They know. They're mature enough. But you have to be mature enough to realize that they know that you have figured them out as well. You got to look for the cracks. I have daughters. My ex ruined the kids. She brainwashed them and set them up for the greatest disadvantage in life. Of course, my kids and my ex doesn't see the damage. Of course they won't. They won't. And then we have this one, the biological denial. Age is just a number. Beauty is within. How many times you hear that shit? Here's a harsh reality, man. Physical biology truth coming up. Look at the screen. Biology doesn't care about your feelings, ladies. Men are visual creatures. At 18, 50, or freaking 80, we're all the same. Nothing changes. Youth, beauty. Youth, beauty. First. Then after that comes internal stuff. Is she peaceful? Is she kind? Okay? So you can talk all the crap you want about beauty is within. Yeah, beauty is within at a certain point after we've gotten through it. So don't think that you're going to come into a relationship 300 pounds because you're sweet and a man is supposed to accept you for that. No. No. There's no way that a man is going to get across the 300 pounds to see the inner beauty in you. That's just the reality of life. So don't think just because you might be nice on the inside that you could then ignore the discipline of taking care of yourself. They say beauty is on the inside, but still cake makeup on their face. Make it make sense. Make that shit make sense. Exactly. Exactly. Okay? That's the reality of life, man. I'm being 38 on the 5th. I'm not dating nobody older than 30. I want kids. Yes. Thanks for the $5, brother. Yeah, this is the reality. Men will always look for youth and beauty, meaning women who are younger than him. It will always be that way. We're biologically hardwired for that. Can't fight it. After my ex blew up the family, I have regretted every day since being married since the late 90s. I regret having children and seeing the horror she put them through. Brother, you at some point you got to let go and stop calling it regret. You need to relabel it and say lesson. Because if you keep living in this so-called regret, you'll just keep beating up on yourself and you're not going to freaking live, man. Just look at it as a lesson. We need to stop this thing about regret. I don't live in regret. I just learn lessons. You learn to lesson, let it go, and move forward in your world, man. Because why deal with something you can't change? Why let the past keep infiltrating and interfering with your future? Because that's what regret does. The lesson you take and then you never apply it again in the future. Count yourself fortunate that you're not with her anymore. Exactly. Thank you. Facts. And never make those mistakes again. Exactly. But please don't use that word regret. None of you, I want none of you to ever live in regret. Anything that I felt that I was regretful for, I have apologized to those people. Okay? Let's listen to this one woman again. Another woman, actually. Let me see. Did I cover her?
As a woman in her 50s, can I be honest with you? I am sick of the world and people telling me what a woman in her 50s should behave like or be like or do. Because I'm 55, nearly 56. I'm a former women's health professional. I post videos on here just for the hell of it because I like it. It's good fun and I love interacting with other women in their 40s and 50s and beyond on here. It makes me happy. Yesterday, somebody put, your hair's too long for somebody who's 55. You need to cut your hair. No, I don't. I can do whatever I like. Just because I'm in my 50s doesn't mean you get a say. The world does not get a say on what we do. If we want longer hair, we can. If we want to dress a certain way, we can. If we want to do crazy things, we can. If I decide I want to go and start another business when I'm 60, I can. If I want to go on holiday myself, I can. If I want to go backpacking across Europe on my own, I can. Just because we become in our 50s does not mean we just have to give up on everything and become this old lady sat at home in a dressing gown and slippers, rocking in a chair. I don't get why the world thinks this. We've got so much to give. We've got more to give than most. We've done everything. So it's like, go away with your comments. As a woman in her 50s.
Okay, so let's address that. Yes, you can do whatever you want, but you have to understand you don't live in a bubble. You live in a world of consequences. You live in a world that is all where you're also judged by other people. You can't dress how you want and not face the consequences of that. Yes, of course, something as light as your hair, you do whatever you want with your hair. I mean, as long as you're not going to stop any opportunities at your job because of your hair, etc. It, if you're working at a bakery and they want you to have shorter hair because the hair gets into the might probably fall into the food and hair nets, etc. My point is that the severity of the thing of doing what you want has to be categorized on what are the consequences of me doing that thing. Back in the day, women were judged much more severely because it influenced or hurt the village or society that she was living in, and they did not want her influences to influence the society on a whole. In today's environment, every woman thinks they can do whatever they want. They want the freedom to do whatever they want. But just because you can do whatever you want doesn't mean that it's going to fit you or the society. So I don't want women to get this idea that if I want to go and take a trip and go and climb a mountain, I can. Yeah. If you can do it, you can attempt it. But if they got to freaking helicopter your ass off the mountain because you've had your knees gave out, etc., and you're now paying $70,000 for the helicopter ride to get off the freaking mountain, you screwed yourself. The only reason I bring that up was because I don't know if you remember last week. There was a group of women who went backpacking up a mountain, and one of them had shortness of breath. They had to take her off the mountain. The helicopter ride was $70,000, and the cost was split between the group of what I think there was like 15 different women. So that ride cost them that so-called outing all of a sudden cost them thousands of dollars to do, because some overweight woman thought that she could do whatever she wants, right? So I'm just giving you an example of there are consequences, choices, trade-offs, and consequences to those choices you make. So as older woman, you got to be mature enough to identify that every choice that you make, there will be a trade-off. And it could be positive or negative. So we have to freaking use our damn common sense. That's the problem. I want to grow old and sit in a rocking chair with a robe on my front porch in the countryside overlooking the lake. I get the vision that you have in your brain, but that this is an old way of looking at life, and this was only given to people who worked hard. And when I mean hard, physically, because we now know that in an environment where the large majority of our life is done either sitting or laying down, that is not a good way to go out. You have to be continuously active right up until the very last breath that you freaking draw. There is no such thing as the old man in a rocking chair rotting away, because that's essentially what it is. You have to be constantly moving. Comfort is a trap. I made a song on this. Thank you, brother. Use it or lose it. So we have to get out of this idea that is the essence of what we need. You cannot be sitting in a rocking chair on your prostate, pissing and shitting yourself in your old age. Now, you got to be moving. You have to be. Okay? That's just the reality of life. I'm so thankful that I'm a father. I believe it was my greatest accomplishment. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that, John. Yeah, I think so too, man. I want to grow. Yeah, okay, I read that one already. All right, guys, hit me up with some more likes as we come to the end of the show. Why is it that so many people join at the last minute of the show? Why? 174 of you are registered here right now, and we're coming up to the end of the show. Man, why can't you guys join me at the beginning of the show? Huh? Unbelievable, man.
I got divorced at 53 years old after an 18-year marriage. And there have been plenty of times post-divorce where I've kind of lamented the fact that I spent so many years in a bad marriage. Why didn't I get a divorce sooner? I wish I was younger when I got the divorce. Now I'm realizing that at 53 years old, this was the perfect time for me to have gotten a divorce. Because at 53, I am no longer the focus of male attention. And because I'm no longer the focus of male attention, I'm no longer seeking male validation. When I was a teenage girl and I started getting attention from boys and men, I kind of found myself on this hamster wheel of wanting attention because the attention made me feel good. It made me feel pretty. It made me feel smart. It made me feel confident in myself. It was just a very slippery slope from receiving attention to actively seeking male validation. What a man thought about me mattered, because eventually it was going to lead to a man choosing me to be his wife. And once I was chosen as a wife, I could relax. I could just finally be myself because I was going to have this man who loved me and accepted me for who I truly was. But once I got into an actual marriage, I found out I was still on that hamster wheel. I was still seeking attention from my husband, seeking his validation, seeking his time. It just never ended. Now that I'm divorced and I'm 53 years old and I'm no longer receiving the attention from men that I used to get, I feel like the world looks different. I feel like I can make decisions with a clear mind because the only person that I'm thinking about is myself. I'm not thinking about what a man wants from me, what a man needs from me. And that goes for big decisions to even small decisions about what I wear or how I do my hair. I'm just doing everything for myself. And there's just a freedom in that. If I had gotten divorced earlier, even when I was in my early 40s, I don't know if I would have been able to be in this space right now. I think I still might have been in the place of seeking male attention and male validation. I would have gotten myself into the same.
All right. She was just going on and on. But you notice something about women when the attention dries up. It's always, I don't need a man after the men stop calling. I just call that cope. She's just trying to cope with the fact that at 53, men aren't freaking knocking on her door anymore. And she's just trying to cope with the fact that, yeah, it's not happening for you anymore. So it's all about, I don't really need a man in black. The reality of it is that it's very difficult to make women see that they are always looking at the grass is always greener on the other side. They find a man, they get married, and they have a society who tells her that there's something better. It's always that problem. Women and men, you cannot understand this point. Hypergamy is a bitch for women. It is one of their worst, and I mean their worst traits. Hypergamy is literally the worst curse a woman can have. Thinking that there's always something better. I don't know. Let me see if I can give you an equivalent. I guess a collector, right? Let's say you like cars, motorcycles, or whatever you like collecting, and you never really feel like you have enough. You never feel like, I bought my last car, my last Harley, my last whatever. Because it's just this urge to constantly look and find one better or one different. So this is the problem with a lot of women. A lot of women, even though they thought they had found that ultimate man, they have a society that constantly tells them there's something better out there. This poor woman, she, and I told you this at the beginning, at the top of the show, this is a woman who thought that I still have enough time to find a better one. In reality, punched her in the face and realized, oh shit, the attention have dried up. The attention is gone. Now, she needs to cope. She needs to tell you that, I'm so happy that the attention is gone because I just don't feel like I was, it's like a pile of crap. Attention to a woman is her absolute currency. She's ran out of it. And now she's going to start talking about, I don't need that anymore. I don't need it anymore. Bullshit. Every woman wants attention up until the freaking end. If you guys saw my video from yesterday where the 71-year-old woman explained in very candid terms that she no longer had a she was terrified of the fact that she was no longer getting any attention. And at 7 to 1, she hired an escort. Go and watch the video from yesterday if you guys haven't watched that yet, right? It's the fact that at 7 to 1 years old, she wasn't getting any more attention, so she had to hire it. She had to freaking hire an escort. And then she wasn't satisfied because she couldn't get off. And she asked for a refund. You imagine that, man. Gentlemen, imagine hiring a prostitute, right? And then you couldn't get it up or you couldn't get off, right? And then 2 days later, you felt so bad, you call her and ask her for a refund. Oh, I have to laugh at it from a man's perspective. But if you watch that show from yesterday, this is what in the escort refunded our money. That's the freaking funny part. And she felt empowered because of that. Because she got a refund. Sorry, I don't mean to laugh, right? But just thinking about it yesterday, I was just laughing as I was doing that show, man. Oh, but it's hilarious. But this is what we expect from women. This is what, or I should say, this is what women expect. Oh, gosh. I needed that laugh at the end here. But this is the kind of coping mechanism that women have to put in place when life is no longer giving them the attention that they absolutely yearn for. It doesn't matter how old a woman is, she still wants attention. That is just the reality of life. Okay? So, my friends, listen, I'm going to draw the show to a close. At this point, we're at 2 hours, man. 2 hours. This is great. And what? We're peaking in views at people at right now at 106 to 1. Like the show on the way out, please, my friends. I would strongly appreciate that. And I really appreciate each and every single one of you for joining me, because I love doing live shows, man. I'm going to start doing more of them, actually. Okay? So, my friends, hey, this is it. This is it. We're at the end, man. Thank you so much for joining me. And come back next week. Next week, I don't have a subject yet. Should I do 60-year-olds dating in 60s, or should we stop here at 50? I think we should stop at 50. I think we should have different topics. And if you guys want me to cover any different topics, by all means, send me some topics I should cover so that my job is to help you answer your questions. Okay. So guys, send me some topics. 60, stop at 50, stop at 50. Yes, 60. I'm reading them. Thanks, another banger. Thank you too, brother. Thank you so much. Go to 60? You want me real seriously? All right. Give me some ideas. If I see some other good ideas, I'll go for it. But otherwise, I think I should stop at 60. I mean, there's not much difference after 50 because pretty much in the same boat, man. All right, my friends, I'm going to play you all out with this.
Guard your mornings like a sacred place. Write the plan, then attack, don't erase your place. Turn your anger into effort, not a heavy chain. Turn your doubts into questions that refine your aim. He said, love is a duty, there's more than one. You show up when it's ugly, when
they lied to you, young blood. They told you to work hard, sit down and relax. They told you comfort was the prize. Comfort is a cemetery. Listen close. Comfort is a trap. Staying still is next to death. We got to move the body till we take a final breath. Lift heavy, move off things, stretch it out wide. Never let the rust take the worry inside. Comfort is a trap, it's the enemy you face. Listen to the older man, pick up the pace. They saw the dream of a rocking chair sitting on the porch, while the fire in your belly slowly burns up the torch. They said take it easy, you earned your right to rest, but that ease is a poison that settles in your chest. Your muscles start to wither and your joints start to lock, while you're staring at the television, staring at the clock. No, break the cycle, put the weight on your back. Iron sharpens iron on the battle track. Comfort is a trap, staying still is next to death. We got to move the body till we take a final breath. Lift heavy, move often, stretch it out wide. Never let the rust take the worry inside. Comfort is a trap, it's the enemy you face. Listen to the older man, pick up the pace. Don't just move the muscle, gotta flex their brain too. Learn a new language, build something brand new. Comfort makes you soft, makes the mind go gray. You gotta shock the system every single day. Sweat on your brow, feel the bloodstream pump. Over every hurdle that you got to jump. Asian ain't a finish line, it's a brand new scale. You gotta fight like hell as you turn the page. What do? We lift heavy. How do we live? We move often. Why do we break the comfort trap? Listen to the older man. Comfort is a trap. Comfort is a trap. Staying still is next to death. We got to move the body till we take a final breath. Lift heavy, move often, stretch it out wide. Never let the rust take the worry inside. Comfort is a trap, it's the enemy you face. Listen to the older man, pick up the pace. Move often. Stretch more. Use your brain. Don't you dare sit down. Ooh. They lied to you, young blood. They told you to work hard,